Hi, this is Mizzou. We're working on homework 6. There are a few key words in these problems for your homework tonight where you really need to pay attention to. So in class, we were unable to really talk about the homework and also some of the key words. So go ahead and spend some time reading over the screen. You might want to pause the video and also spending time reading the summarize section in this box on your worksheet. And it's going to tell you how to find like a sale price, finding a final cost after tip or markup. It'll tell you how to find a commission and to find a profit. Okay, as you review that, we'll come back to it as we do the math problems, and I will go ahead and show that to you. So let's start with the first question here. Okay, when we're talking about a wholesale price and then a retail price, that was the definition from above that you looked at. A wholesale price basically is like Costco. Costco is a wholesale store where you can buy things in bulk, so things are a little cheaper. So a retail store is a store, you know, like Finish Line at the mall, like mall stores, or other stores where they're selling things at a price that's increased or marked up to make some profit. So in the first question here, we have that the store bought $150 worth of items and they marked it up by 120%, so they want to find the retail price. So basically here in question number 1, they're finding what we would call the selling price that we've been doing in our homework. So that's what you're doing for number 1. The second question is asking for the total cost of the meal after the tip. Now, a tip is very similar to marking something up, as we all know, because we need to pay an extra amount. So I think we can handle number 2 with a meal because we have experience in that area. And number 3, I'm not going to talk about. I'm going to skip down to number 4. Okay, for number 4, I'm going to work out the problems actually on a separate sheet right here. So for number 4, we have a $20 item at a 30% discount. Okay, if you choose to use a proportion, okay, we're going to put the 30% over 100 equaling X over $20. This is going to give us the discount price. Okay, because the 30% is our discount percentage. All right, as we cross multiply, okay, X is going to be 100X will equal to 600, so X is equal to $6. Okay, I get to save $6, and I am looking for the sale price. The problem is asking for the sale price. So the sale price is actually going to be the price subtracted the $20 minus the $6, which is $14. Okay, if I used an equation, then I took the $20 and multiplied it by 0.30, which is the 30%, or just 0.3, and that gave me $6. And then I went ahead and again subtracted $6 from $20. Another proportion that I could write for this question is to use the proportion where I have 70% over 100 equals to X over 20. The reason I would choose 70% is that's what I would pay, also known as your sale price, the paying price, or the paying percentage, because X would represent the paying or the sale price that I want to pay. So I would represent it by 70. Remember in the bars, let me show you really briefly. Okay, if I were to color in 3 of the bars, I divided my bars into 10 pieces. And this is what we did in class today. The 30% is what you get to save, which means that the other 70% is what you pay. So that's why we could create the second proportion, which directly leads us to the final answer, $14. So let me highlight that for number 4. I'm sorry, excuse me. And then it just requires one last step. For number 6, we're looking at a wholesale price of $30, and we're going to mark up our item 120% markup. And we're basically going to find, we're not going to find the sale price because number 6 is not talking about a sale price. It's actually going to talk about the retail price because it's also not asking for the meal price. So the store is going to sell their item at a markup of 120%. If you do it the equation method, okay, we're going to take $30 and multiply it by 1.20. Okay, that's going to give us $36. Okay, the $36 is the markup price. Okay, now I'm going to mark it up and figure out what the retail is. The retail price is going to be my $30 plus the $36 on top of it, which is $66 total. So my final answer is the $66 using an equation. If I use a proportion, then the proportion I want is going to be 100% plus 120% markup out of 100%, equaling x over 30. So why is it that I'm choosing to add 100 with 120? The reason why is because that represents the retail price, also known as the selling price. How much are you going to sell it for? You're definitely going to sell it for 100%, which is the price you bought it for, plus more, plus the 120% you're marking it up. So this is your selling price here, which is your retail price. So that's why the percentage, I'm sorry, this should say percent. That's why the percentage is going to be represented by 100 plus 120. Okay, and then the $30 is just representing the 100%, which is your original price of the item. Okay, to complete that proportion, we would do 220 over 100 equaling x over 30. Okay, I'm going to cross multiply. That's going to give me 6,600 equal to 100x, and 6,600 divided by 100 is $66. Okay, so we're getting the same answer that we got earlier. I'm going to skip number 8, but that's a food bill and a tip. So it's very similar to just this question we did now, where we're adding on top of the bill an extra 18% tip. When we get to number 10, a commission. Now, as you spend time reading over what a commission is at the top of the page, it tells us that it's the total sales times the percentage. Okay, when is this used? You know, when we have like a real estate agent making money off of commission, when you're hired by a company and you're selling a product for them, maybe what you make for them. So let's say you sell, like, you know, the 2,100 boxes of cookies for the Girl Scouts. They will give you a small percentage of what you sell, known as the commission, that you get to keep, and that's part of your earnings, part of your salary and your pay, okay, for the work that you're doing. So the more you sell, the better. So here the total sales is $2,000. They get to take a profit, they get to take 10% of that. So then we're going to multiply that by 0.1 or 0.10. and that will give us $200. Okay, so they get to make an extra $200 because of their sales for $2,000. As a proportion, sorry, this is an equation. As a proportion, we would have 10% over 100 equals to x over 2,000. So as you cross multiply, you will also get $200. And the very last part for profit, and again, if you were reading the summarization, it says that you subtract the expense from the income. So we have the income minus the expenses. So a profit is basically what you get to make for what you're selling. So you may be selling the shoes, you know, maybe $60 a pair, maybe the Tom shoes, you know, they sell them for like $60, $70, and they're selling each shoe, maybe 10,000 shoes. Okay, but then they have to subtract their expenses. Expenses are like cost. You know, how much did it cost for them to make it, to buy the material, to manufacture it? Maybe they had to pay some employees at their store to man the cashier register and to be helpful to their customers. So we have to subtract the expenses to actually get our profit. So we're going to take the income. So for number 12, we're taking the $495 that they made, but they had to, you know, spend some money to get there. So they have to subtract $275 from the $495, and we're going to get, alrighty, $220 is the profit that they made. And that's our final answer. So very simple subtraction. We'll talk more about it in class tomorrow and even go over the homework from last night and maybe even look at some more bar diagramming. We do have a quiz on Friday. I do apologize, this video I did really quickly. I was a little rushed for time. So feel free to rewatch it, go back, pause, and watch sections that you need. Read through the definitions, the summarization again, and all of your notes. It is good to go back to highlight, and usually when you learn information you only remember about 20% of it, but as you go back to review you'll remember 50%, and you go back to review again the next day you'll remember about 70%. So as you're getting close to the day of the quiz, review, go back and review, and just read through it. Just spending like 2 or 3 minutes is good, and helps you kind of keep that short-term information in your short-term memory box and moves it to the long-term memory box. That's what brain study shows us. Enjoy your rest of the day. Bye.